the way I got, I started into this journey. It started when I was still a very young person. I was still young. I think I was still in secondary school. I've always loved music. I've always loved kwaito. I've always loved pop. I've always loved everything. So I remember, I used to sit at the back of my house with when my sister would piss me off. I would get like this group, those plastic bottle that we used to fetch water from the village taps. I would sit, at the back of the house, and I would bang that bottle, producing some nice rhythms. And I would sit at the back for hours. So I used to enjoy that pretty much. So I remember even in secondary school, we used to, my friend used to organize some mini competitions where, we would, compete against each other, banging the tables, doing the rhythms, coming up with songs and stuff like that. So that's when I realized that I'm into music. But then again, myself going to gigs when I was still young, I think when I saw DJs like Fresh, the late DJ Monde, DJing there in front of us, that sort of intrigued my love for DJing, for producing music as well. I remember I once told my friend that I wanted to be a sound engineer, not knowing that sound engineering actually doesn't have anything to do with music producing. By that time, I thought sound engineering was like and again, I didn't follow that passion. I went on to study something else in university. But you know what they say about fate, it follows you. I was staying with a friend of mine in the same university. We stayed in the same residence. So, I used to walk past his room. He was actually my neighbor at the same university, University of Cape Town. So I would hear this funny sounds coming out of his room, being these pots, whatever, and a few minutes later I hear like a solid pattern, a solid house pattern. I kept on asking myself, what is this guy doing? And no, man, one day I decided to knock, on his door, and he opened up for me. I introduced myself, and we started hanging. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me, fortunately, he was doing house music. I was so, excited. I was so fascinated by, having to see a person being able to do, a house just from the comfort of his home, of his room, just his PC doing sound. And from there, I think he gave me the software, and then I went on to my room and, started doing music. And the DJ industry, I think I've started like a few years back, like two years back, studying to learn how to DJ. I've always been a person who's been, into doing music. Yeah, so I think the journey has been great for me, so yeah. Even I finished my matric, and I did well in my matric, so I was offered an opportunity to go study in a university. But one of the prerequisites about the company is that I was required to, to spend 1 year in the Rustenburg city doing some experiential work. So after that 1 year in 2009, I went on to UCT to study chemical engineering. Then after a few years, I came back. Right now, I'm based in Rustenburg. So, to be honest with you, it was not an easy decision because I'm from a disadvantaged background. For me, trying to go to university to study an engineering degree, actually I wanted to improve, the living conditions back at home. So, I'd say fate finally caught up with me, because you can't love two things at the same time. But I wanted to make my mom happy at the same time, so I decided to finish the degree. I decided not to drop out. I finished the degree, and my plan was to actually do, practice an engineer whilst doing the DJing and the producing music on the side. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened according to my plans, but I have a degree, and I'm just doing what I love currently, which is the most important thing for me. my advice to up and coming producers is that you should follow your heart, but at the same time you should keep in mind that you should have something, a plan B that you would actually follow if your plan A didn't go accordingly. So I would say, go to school, go study whatever you think it's gonna work out for you financially. But then at the same time, don't lose the love for music. Just keep on doing music. Just keep on producing music. Because you need to have, one thing about varsity that I learned about myself is that it opens your mind. You don't think the way you were before you went to university. Like in terms of business-wise and everything, socially, you start thinking differently. So I'd advise people to go to university and pursue whatever they want to pursue, but at the same time don't lose, just continue doing music, being a producer, yeah.
And the extent of it. Then we sort of started getting used to the idea.
My top 4 musical influences, the producers that I used to listen to when I was growing up. One is Louis Vega. He's definitely on the list because I used to listen to a lot of compilations. 2 is Osinlade. Osinlade has been a very great pioneer in terms of house music. And 3, Kerry Chandler obviously has to be on that list. And I would say number 4, Glenn Underground. Glenn Underground has been doing, his music has been, compiled in our country. So those are the top 4 musical influences in our country. If I were to talk about the DJs, I think Vinny, Iggy Small, the late DJ Monde, and definitely Silly Bean, man. They have been amazing now. If I were to talk about strictly DJs.
I was in Germany studying more or less. I had many connections.
I've set goals for me, so my medium-term goals for me are to basically keep on producing international quality music, music that is in in that standard, that's world-class standard. So I've actually want to build a solid relationship with the established international labels where I could, release my music in. Because if you release your music with those people, they know how these things are done. They have been doing it for a long time. So you stand a better chance of, of being exposed to the underground scene as being opposed to doing your own thing, trying to release your music, starting a label, because it's gonna take you a while, to actually, your music to be recognized. So not to say that, I don't plan to release my music, starting my own label, because I'm currently, I have a label of my own where I release my music, but my medium-term goals are to, strengthen the relationship that I have with this international producers, international labels that I've released my music in. So recently I've also, formed sort of a relationship with a label that is based in Sweden by the name of Swedish Branding Production. So I think I'm gonna, most of my music is going to be released on that label as well, and I'm gonna try as well and just to diversify my portfolio, release my other music on other labels. But primarily, my music is going to be found on that label. So in terms of, long-term goals, my long-term goals are to perform deep house live. Now I'm not talking about your soulful house or that soul music where you can just have a band and a vocalist where they perform live. Deep house sound is predominantly known to, it was like it's music that was made from machines. Now it's made from software. So it's very difficult. Most of the things like your effects and stuff like that, they are just stuff that is in there. You just have to take and bring everything together, and then you have a deep house song. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to incorporate organic sound and do exactly what we've been doing with machines and with the softwares. But now we will be using your bass guitar and we would be doing those effects live. Those vocal chops, we would be doing this live. I know it's a very, it's a challenging sort of a goal for me, but it's something worth doing, something that I want to try to do. Boskay's music is available in most of the online stores basically, because the guys that I've been releasing with over the past years, the international music, and even myself as well, we are releasing in over 50 stores, you know, worldwide. So, but I would suggest that you go check out Tracksource. There's a store by the name of Tracksource, tracksource.com. Just check out my music there. iTunes as well, it's available there. You know, for South African people, it's available there. iTunes and Google Play, which is the cheapest in South Africa. So you can check out my music there. But if you just Google my name, Boskay, surely you're gonna find, you know, came across something there. Well, I'd like to say, you know, thank you to everyone. You know, I don't like calling people fans, but I'd like to say thanks to everyone who's been, you know, supporting me ever since I started. I started back then, but most of the people don't know. Thank you very much for supporting my music, and you know, to all the people who've been supporting, please spread the word about my music as well. I've got an upcoming EP this year with Swedish Brandy Productions. It's a 4-tracker EP. It's deep house, I think a bit of Afro House in there. So look out for that. It's very fat, it's very groovy, and it's very smooth as well. So look out for that. You know, it's gonna come out this year, hopefully before the end of this year. I've just signed the contract with the guys, and right now it's actually been mastered. Those tracks are being mastered, and I'm just waiting for the artwork and the masters to be sent back to me. Yeah, so just look out for that, and thanks for the support, and keep the house music alive.